It's the second match of our Sunday day, and it is Sweden versus Poland, a powerhouse from Sweden, the 7th seed, showing miracles, showing absolute stories that have been captivating throughout this entire tournament in Poland, a powerhouse that has already shown what they're capable of as a 3rd seed, and it is time for them to fight for a spot, guaranteed a top 3, and a guaranteed spot in the grand final stage. I'm here joined with ChillierPear. How are you doing today?
Oh, good afternoon, good evening to some. This is going to be an exciting one. We've had a lot of very close matches this weekend, some upsets to boot, and Sweden, a team that now, I'm going to glaze myself, I personally had after predictions as one of the highest placing teams in the tournament based on the roster they have this year, but Poland living up to the expectations as well. They are up here exactly as expected with their roster that we took a look at just a couple of weeks ago, fighting through every single weekend of this tournament to get to this point. Like you mentioned, we have a very interesting match between these two now because, like you said, this is a guaranteed top 3 finish right here. This is a winner's bracket semifinals matchup, which means that whoever wins here will be either placing at or above their seed for this match, which is crazy considering we have some tournaments in the loser's bracket that are gone now, who should have made it through to this weekend. That bottom bracket match between Australia and Indonesia, unbelievably close here. So excitement for these two teams here. The winner of this match will be facing off against the winner of United States versus Canada, two very strong teams. That will be next weekend. What are your thoughts on pick and ban strategies here today? What are our thoughts based on what Sweden pulled off, beating Germany in the quarterfinals weekend, going all the way here, and then of course Poland having their matchup where they defeated Russia 6-1, mind you, to get to this point.
I mean, yeah, looking at the stats in quarterfinals, you see Sweden absolutely destroy Germany on most of those aim picks. He got like number 1, placing number 1 overall on number 1 for quarterfinals. That 5 minute 30 seconds map that we had in the quarterfinals shows the consistency and the nerve control that Sweden has. So if they're willing to go lengths into this map, they have some incredible depth, incredible mental for these longer matches, as well as kind of these just aim maps. What it falls short is a bit of gimmick. They do score really low on Nomad 6 in our past quarterfinals map pool, as well as that hidden 2, but that has been banned out by Poland this time around. So Sweden won't be able to go into gimmick unless it is that Nomad 6 and Free Mod 2 that are in the pool currently. And if we look at the bans, you see on Hard Rock 3, yeah, it's another low score for Sweden. One of the lower scoring teams for the kind of Hard Rock 3, the alt. And that is the reason why they're going to ban it. But yeah, Sweden just going in with a power pick, already being a reflective response to what they are really strong at, beating Germany in the quarterfinals. That Nomad 1. This map, it really just nothing else to say about it. You just got your generic 220 BPM aim map, pretty consistent. Just really nothing else to add onto this.
I think there's something special to note about this match that you start to see a little bit more going into semifinals weekend and later weekends with the teams that we have here. It's that the overall consistency of both of these teams goes so deep into their rosters that we are not really looking for major star performances today, as you might see in some of the other matches with the teams that are maybe starting to get eliminated this weekend, right? You know, we're obviously looking out for a few star players on both teams that are probably going to be pulling a little bit more weight, but that's just sort of the nature of these, you know, higher skill cap matches right here. Of course, on the side of Sweden, that is going to be Sila, number 1 player out of qualifiers, one of the highest performing players in almost every single weekend of this tournament, bar maybe a couple. And then Poland, overall, Shedis and Kosiarek are going to be the two to really watch out for on the side of Poland. They have been kind of the rising stars here for that team. And of course, a lot of good backing for both sides, you know, against Germany last weekend. Sweden, Melwem, Saika, Blue, all stepping up to the plate on their, having their moments. That's sort of their top 5 they're running with here. Same thing with Poland, NEU, Azriel really stepping up as well. I think we're really expecting a lot out of both of these two teams to have a strong start to this match. You never want to see an early break point. You never want to see a missed pick. So to get that confidence up high right now, we are looking for Sweden to get their own pick on the board right here. The thing that they do want to watch out for, though, is that while Sweden did beat Germany 6-3 in a seed upset, Poland did beat Russia 6-1, which is a pretty significant margin for a quarterfinals weekend matchup, even if you are the 3 seed. But it's aim time. Like you said, Sweden, strong aim team. Not too much for Poland on this route. I think we're hoping to see them, get confident on the board, both teams.
Yeah, and then looking back at the Poland match when they won 6-1 on Russia, the only map they dropped was Hidden 3, which was about like a 20k difference. So realistically, could have been a 6-0, but with a little bit of power, Russia just gets that 1 point, and Hidden is just that for them. So number 1, we already talked about it. Just aim. It's going to be pretty generic from here on out. What you see is what you get, consistent as it is. And as you can see, you're going to look at these really star players from Sweden. Scylla's already breaking on the slow slider. It doesn't matter.
Slider break.
Yeah, so huge players you're going to be looking at Sweden are definitely going to be Scylla and Blue, especially when they both had about a 900k plus, both on their own scores. Kuba finding an early break, still really early to determine anything right now, but it's going to be into the first Ki where we're going to see some real interesting stuff there.
220 BPM too, to be mindful of, so a little bit higher intensity on this Nomad 1, which does potentially give an advantage to a few players on the side of Sweden in here. I know that are a little bit more comfortable at that higher BPM compared to some of these Polish players, as we do see Azriel find an unfortunate break, so that's now 3 players dropping their FCs on the side of Poland. Bad Aim Boy, the only one to stand. Double S still maintaining, but plenty of accuracy on Sweden to boot, as well as that triple FC. Scylla recovering from that early break, NU sort of matching that score up on the right-hand side, but there goes Bad Aim Boy and Azriel. That's the final FC for Poland, and another combo drop for them. Couch gonna be the first one to drop a meaningful combo for Sweden here, but it really isn't going to help Poland out enough, as the score lead will continue going towards the side of Sweden. Bad Aim Boy missing again, going to nullify any miss from Couch. Scylla, NEU matching, and then there is Blue and Melwem basically unchecked on one of those FCs right now. Extremely confident for Sweden. They are running with quite a bit of their OWC roster for this. Melwem and Scylla, at least.
Yeah. That's a pretty huge player. There's a couple of players that have been swapped out. I mean, Couch in for Saika on the side of Sweden, as well as Kuba and Azriel subbing in for Era and NU that were on the quarterfinals for Poland on this kind of Noma 1. And there's just a lot of breaks on Poland with Bad Aim Boy. One of the huge performers on that last Noma 1 finds another break and is continuing to diminish that score. Melwem is going to finally drop the FC and drop a couple more score, but you still have a huge reverse combo from Scylla, and Blue still on that FC into a little bit more of a drainy, a little bit more longer string of jump section. But until we get to the bridge, a little bit of break, and right here, 770k, it definitely looks over already. No combo on the side of Poland. And Scylla still on that combo. Blue finding a random break somewhere, but unfortunately, that's going to be the end of the road for Poland on this Noma 1, and Sweden's just going to grab this first point easily by a huge team score.
Unbelievable aim performance overall on the team here. Scylla with just that early break going to be bringing their team into the finish here. And, funny enough, we were talking about OWC players in this lobby. Technically, all time, every single player in for Sweden right now has played in OWC for them. Couch and Blue, both previous players on here. So Sweden continuing to maintain their consistency over the mechanics. This is really sort of their bread and butter right now. And Scylla, number 1 performing player in the tournament for pretty good reason here. 910k, just basically as small of a reverse choke as you could possibly ask for. Just that slow slider catching him off guard. As we even have Sweden Cup here to root on Team Sweden themselves. So what a showing for the Swedish crowd today. Poland, not too big on the Nomad 1s here. That was a little bit of a concerning overall team score when compared to Sweden. So they're going to look to completely switch it up for their first pick in this match right now. Going to try and find something that a little bit, a little bit more favored towards them. Maybe something gimmicky for them might work out really well. Poland very good at the gimmick sort of maps in here. Some of the faster, stamina-oriented DTs might be a great option as well. I think there's plenty of areas for Poland to go into to get into a strong start.
Yeah, I mean, gimmick's already been the safest option for Poland. I mean, Sweden really underscores a lot of those gimmick picks. Last place on most of those low AR picks, such as that Nomad 6 in quarterfinals, hitting 2 in the quarterfinals as well. And something like a free mod 2 right now could work. I mean, you still have to deal with that precision, and that precision goes to, I believe, 7 circle size, or even more, due to it being circle size 6. And so something to look at on that free mod 2. But if you're looking at anything that's a little bit more readable, a little bit more generic, Nomad 2 is a really, really weird map. I mean, you got huge space streams, 170 BPM, a lot of cut streams in that one. The difficulty of that doesn't even stop, keeps rising. But if you're really realistically looking at it, I mean, we already been talking about it, gimmick really is the safest play here. The only really big gimmick map in this pool right now is free mod 2. I think you can make an argument for Nomad 6, but that is just much more of a rhythm precision map. But a DT2 speed map into the stamina map we go, it is going to be that pick from Poland.
Yeah, sort of kind of what I mentioned at the start there. It's either the gimmick or the stamina for them. This is really sort of going to be their game in the early set of this match here. I do think they may end up going for DT1 a little bit later in the match, given Sweden's ability to play the aim maps. While it is a DT, it is a little bit higher AR, a little bit higher BPM. It is still aim-oriented, and, well, we saw how Poland looked on the early aim in the Nomad one, so maybe not the best thing to go for early here. I certainly think that this is going to be a solid spot for them. There is quite a few players on Sweden that would be good at this sort of tapping DT, but I mean, this does take out quite a few of their players, especially that we saw on that previous pick. Most definitely taking out both Couch and Glue. I do imagine Sila stays in for this in most worlds. I feel like we're still well comfortable enough for him to play this. We do Sigripa and Saika subbing in here, as well as Melwem. Shedis, of course, not in for Sweden, going to be in for Poland, so I'm expecting the Sila fourth, potentially for Sweden here. Shedis going over to Poland. And then we will see how this map works out for them. I'm not entirely sure what the speed roster is going to look like for Poland on this early match. We want to see if we can make sure they've got full rosters in here today, as both teams are now taking a little bit of time on those last two.
I mean, looking at on paper, I mean, DT2 is still a good map for Sweden. I mean, on the last quarterfinals map, you can look at the stats. You can look at qualifier stats. Sweden's still a good DT team. Number 1 on DT1 and number 3 on DT2 for the quarterfinals. And this map really stamina heavy. The longer this map goes on, the more stamina that is required due to the streams getting longer and longer. And so if you don't have the stamina to be able to withstand these kind of long death streams, there is death streams in this map, by the way. So that stamina on that 227 BPM kind of map is going to be absolutely important. Not a lot of aim. It's all about that stamina. That's going to be really important. I think a lot of your combo is just going to come from the last half of this map due to it being more dense in combo. Accuracy is always a little bit of a treat for your score, but I think that's going to be it for the descriptions of DT2. It is going to be the same players, I believe, for DT2 on Sweden. I mean, you have all those players, except for... No, I believe this is all of them. Yeah, this is all of them for Sweden. I think Poland, yeah, you're looking at this roster. Incredible speed. They're always going to do great on this kind of map. And ChillierPear, it's DT2 time.
It is DT2 time. First opportunity for Poland to get a point on the board here very early on in this match. You really want to get that opening pick out. We've seen a lot of matches this weekend that have resulted in either breakpoints on the first pick or at least within the first 3. So to maintain that confidence this early on is a big stepping stone for a lot of these teams. There's a lot of pressure going into the semifinals, especially in the winner's bracket right now. A definitive top 3 placement off of a map like this, off of a match like this, is a big boosting point for these teams, as we already start to see Gripe have a little bit of trouble with the aim transitioning between some of these burstier patterns in here. The stamina very clearly holding up well, 99.1% accuracy, but it's just about being able to maintain the aim here. Hav is going to find the break for Poland, traded out by Melwem here, so it is one missed FC down for Sweden. It's not going to be a world of difference, but as long as Gripe and Melwem continue to find breaks here, Hav is going to be able to hold a combo through Kuba, missing on the stamina. And here we go. Here's the act drops. Here's the consistency. It's Bad Aim Boy and Shedis right now for Poland. Can they both hold? Can Sila and Saika hold this one down for Sweden? Is Saika to fall off the stream? And Poland maintains 2 full combos through the stamina section as Sila stands alone against the onslaught of the 3rd seed right now.
I mean, Poland has 2 FC still, and Silla needs to hold on this dev stream section. You see so many act drops right now from all these players, except for Poland. Silla on a 94% accuracy, FC is not enough to combat with these huge accuracy leads from Poland, as well as the 2 FCs. And with 800k in the lead, I think this map is done and dusted. A huge pick from Poland, a decisive pick from them, and a little bit more or of a jumpy part in that last section of the map, but it is done and dusted already. It is going to be 1-1. Sweden, Poland tie a piece, and Sweden with the next pick looking to strike back on this kind of match that is going to probably go the distance.
Absolutely no contention on the first 2 picks. Sweden into a Nomad 1 with a 900,000 score lead. Poland into the double time 2 with an over 1 million score lead. About the same for those 2 picks. Counting in the multiplier for DT, that is relatively similar levels of dominance from both of these 2 teams on the opening picks here. Sila, the only one to pull up the FC for Sweden, but again, we talked about that team difference being the point of this match right now. The overall consistency of both of these rosters. You start to hit these winners bracket matches, and it really is just about who is having the better day. It is very hard to have a star player stand out and win a match in this stage of the tournament, and I mean, we've seen it. I mean, Sila trying to do whatever he could with the full combo there, but Poland with the double, as well as 2 amazing backing scores, going the distance, like you said. And now Sweden into their next pick. Maybe going to go in for a little bit more aim still. We do still have the Hard Rocks open right now, and that is a big opportunity for them. Sila, a strong Hard Rock player. Blue, one of the strongest Hard Rock players in Sweden previously, still maintained that level of skill all the way through this tournament thus far, despite maybe taking a little bit of break for tournaments over the past couple of months leading up to 4-Digit World Cup. And we're really going to start to see what this team is capable of as we progress through this match. But 1-1, 4 points to go for both teams to tie. Prager, 5 points to win. And it's about maintaining the consistency. It's about maintaining that morale. It's about overall holding these points down in the early stages of this match. Even in a best of 11, it still matters getting these early points on the board. Sweden taking quite a bit of this timer to make their second pick here, and they are going to go for the Nomad 2. They are going to go for the Spaced Stream Nomad 2. This is definitely a favorable pick for them. This is a very aim-oriented Nomad 2. For those of you that know this map, there's quite a few jump sections throughout the middle of this, and then one of the hardest parts of this map is the shapes of these streams, the spacing between some of the high-intensity sections, the pinches. They're very uncomfortable. Not your conventional stream map where you're just going to flow aim your way through the entire thing, and you even hear this section of the song right now. All of this that you are hearing is jumps. This is all aim mixed into bursty streams. 175 BPM, extremely comfortable, but the consistency is where this is going to come out here. And if Poland isn't able to maintain it through this aim-style streams right now, Sweden certainly has the roster that will tear this map through.
Yeah, when you're looking at the key eyes of this map, that's when most of the streams are going to be longer strings of notes. You're going to have some 16-note 60-note streams. You got 8-note streams, and they are going to appear some cut streams on the last key eye, I believe. And I think the key eye is chained to each other, I believe. But the verses are basically free combo. Nothing too heavy for the aim, nothing too heavy for that flow aim. Basically, an aim map also in the last key as the kick sliders become basically cross screen, and especially some just absolutely devastating cut streams in the last half, and there's like a couple of them that are pretty choke pointable. So when you're looking at these rosters, I mean, Sweden, yeah, I think they are favorable on this over Poland. Sweden, I mean, you're going to look at the same roster kind of from Nomad 1, Blue, Scylla, and Melweb. But instead, we have Couch for Sweden instead. Poland running it with Era, Ezreal, ChillierPear, and Zvedis.
Well, we're looking for that consistency on Sweden. The really bad part about DT2 was the stamina giving out for them, and that will be a non-issue at 175 BPM for them on this sort of map. It's also going to allow some of these players to really strut the consistency, which is a big strong point of Sweden, really. You know, a lot of the teams you see up here in the winners bracket, their strong point is their skill cap, their ability to play these super difficult, you know, finals, grand finals levels maps. Sweden really takes the cake on their consistency. They're able to put up high scores across all 4 of their players, and it shuts a lot of teams out early when they find those silly breaks on the spike sections there. And Sweden is just maintaining with 3 combos. Even if they have to sacrifice a little bit of accuracy for it, they're willing to do it. As we get into the early stages of this Nomad 2, now you start to get a little bit of a taste of what this is going to have in store for you. Again, aim-heavy, higher spacing streams, a little bit more unconventional in terms of the shapes when we get into the later sections here. This early part is really not going to be too difficult for them. Couple cuts on these slider jumps right now in between very basic streams. I would be hard-pressed to see any major breaks towards the ending of this section. Azrael did find a very early one as we approach that first quarter and the first Ki coming up very soon. And this is where the combos are going to start to drop right about here. This is our first section. When it's blue.
Yeah, blue's gonna drop. Yeah, blue's gonna find the first drops. A couple of chain misses are gonna happen due to the OD being 8.9, so that note lock territory is in effect right now. No breaks coming in from anybody else except for blue in the beginning of this section right here. A little bit of more streams to go until we finish our Ki section, and we have overdone that, and now into a little bit of build up to our second verse. And right now it is 3 FCs to 3, but a little bit of more combo on the side of Poland with Azrael's reverse choke right here. Into the verse, yeah, you're looking at the accuracy. Sweden still has an SS on Melweb as well as an SS on Era as well. You got a lot more accuracy on the side of Poland altogether with blue on 98% due to the chain misses that have been acquired during that chorus. But into the next Ki, Couch finds a break on basically nothing. That's a combo you don't want to drop, and even in the verses. But now into the second Ki we go.
Could be the difference maker right there. Couch dropping on the aim. Scylla over-aiming a stream as well, and a full breakdown for Sweden. We do lose ChillierPear and Zvedis. It's now Melweb versus Era, and they are basically equal right now. A singular 100 for Era right now, who holds through the jump section. Melweb under aims on the far right-hand side, and Sweden's dreams have been crushed on their first pick on the Nomad 2 going through. Era and Azrael holding it down, and that's just going to be the point lost right there. A third of the map left to go. Azrael holding this combo down. There is nobody on Sweden to drag this back. 300,000 score, an unbelievable margin with no recovery, and an absolute blunder for the 7th seed on their second pick.
And Melweb's just one of those like big aim players. I mean, one of those like players that you put on those consistency maps, those Nomad ones. That break is so absolutely devastating. That is a heartbreaking combo there. That is to drop in before the bridge section right there. But now into some free combo section, and there is combo just equal between all the playing fields. Couch finding more breaks, but Poland up 2-1. And this is a spot where Sweden does not want to be. If you want to push Poland to their limits, if you want to be able to win this match, you need to win every single pick that you acquire. But Sweden is just breaking everywhere. Everyone's going to drop to the cut streams except for ChillierPear and Era. But if you're looking at it, if you're going to go down 3-1, you best win the rest of your maps against Poland. And this is going to be such a tough spot for Sweden here.
An unfortunate start to the match. We talk about not letting those early points slip up right now, and this was just an unfortunate scenario for Sweden. Really, a little bit more of drops on the aim than we would have expected from them. given the fact that Melwin basically just missed on a far right before the cut stream. And early breaks for everyone on Sweden. I mean, again, it wasn't really a star player on Poland. It was just overall those 5 to mid 600Ks versus mid 500K to mid 400K. And then, you pull that across 4 different players and there you go. Boom. That's your 500K difference right there. It really does not take a lot when you're in a 4v4. 500K is literally the difference of one player, which, spread across overall. Poland just played that map a little bit better. They were a little bit more consistent. They were a little bit more comfortable on those. And, Sweden maybe with a bit more of an adventurous pick early on in this match. I definitely would have pinned them on something like Hard Rock 1, a little bit more consistent on the aim, maybe even some of those free mods to go into here. There's a lot of avenues that they could have taken over taking a flow aim style map, again, especially after Poland looks so good on the DT2. I mean, largely in part due to the stamina aspect of that map, but you definitely don't want to go into something that Poland has very clearly proven that they are strong at to begin with when you have the upper hand on the aim. And I mean, Hidden 1, big aim pick as well in Doku right there. If Sweden's able to pull up the hidden players today, that's definitely going to be an option. But given Poland's ability to play some of those hidden maps, it might be a dangerous spot to be in. And now Sweden maybe has to rethink their picking strategy a little bit right now. If that was their second pick, if that was their second strongest map in the entire pool, and you lose it by a margin of 500,000 score, I do wonder for their prospects going into these next few picks if they don't switch it up right now. Poland, now with the opportunity to consolidate that breakpoint, and they could just as easily pick a double time speed map out here and just completely shut this one down.
Speaking of that double time speed map, you can definitely go into DT3 if you are Poland, considering that Sweden only got, I think the stats are broken. Yeah, Sweden was a little bit mid into the DT3, probably like an 8th or a 7th in our DT3 back then on the XI versus Takiozo map on Storia. But yeah, we're going into DT3 now. We already talked about it, DT3 being that pick. It is going to be this kind of speed tech map. You got loads of snappiness. You got loads of finger control, snappy aim. You need some tech knowledge as well due to how fast these sliders can get. And then especially on the 10.3 AR, 10.1 OD accuracy might be gone already considering how fast this map can be. 263 BPM is an absolute BPM that is going to ruin your accuracy. But especially in the last key hour, especially in the key eyes, are going to be the most important combos due to it being really combo density. I think the Versus don't have any combo at all. And so with Poland this being their pick, it looks really comfortable from where they're coming from.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about when I mentioned this being an optional pick for Poland here, given their ability to play the speed, given Sweden's drop on the stamina at the ending. It doesn't just take long streams to kill your stamina. If you go super high BPM and you cap players out, it does also drain your fingers a little bit, right? And it takes less time to do so. So kicking this up to 260 plus, even for a map as short as this, really gives a major advantage to Poland overall. Now, I do have to say, with the difficulty of this map being one of the harder maps in this pool, it is a little bit more standout performable than some of the other picks, meaning that if we do see 1 or 2 players on these 2 teams here have a great time on this, it could potentially throw it one way or the other. But for Poland, I think this is their best possible way to consolidate that breakpoint. If there was ever a chance that they were going to get it down, it would be this map right here. As Sweden looks for their final player, it looks like it's going to be Group B coming in for the final. Couch subbing out. Not too surprising to see Couch subbing out for 263 BPM on this one right here. It's going to be Osulan Bolov. And now we've got our 4, we've got our good luck, have funs, and again, Exia, only 1 minute and 44 seconds total on this map. Unbelievably short amounts of time, which means that any slip up here could throw this away. We've had matches this weekend that have ended in differences of 500 and something points overall. It's possible. We've seen it. Here we go.
Gonna be the, yeah. Here we go. Blink and you'll miss it. A 1 minute and 44-second map. The rosters for Poland going to be your powerhouses. I'm pretty sure this is basically the same roster that we had on the DT2. So the mechanics are absolutely going to be in immaculate form for this DT3. Some free combo in the beginning, but right into our sections, you're going to see how this map is shaped out. And already you're seeing the snappiness of how these circles will go. A lot of bursts, a lot of sliders. and into the Ki. That's where the most intensity is going to come from. But you can already see the accuracies on Poland are not matching what you expect. Hav is going to find a first break on this and into the first Ki, where it is going to be lots of back and forth sliders, snappy sliders as well, kick sliders. Osulembova is going to find a break, Saki as well, and still Grippe has to contest with 3 FCs against Poland, but the accuracies are in high for Grippe, but it's going to find a break, and that's one of the huge scores you do not want to drop there.
The aim suffering for Grippe right now, over-aiming on all of these sliders, completely dropping off the ball into that halfway point. It's Hav to find a double break. Bad Aim Boy is going to trade out one of those combos. It's only 70,000 for Poland right now, given these low accuracies across the board right now. Grippe, 330k, despite finding the miss, puts him higher than almost 2 players on Poland. If we see one break through these buzz sliders on Poland, it might be possible, but we're not. It's 400,000 possible score for Sila right now, maybe just under at 95% accuracy. If we see a break from one of these Polish players soon on these full combos, it's Kuba, and it's going to be Sila versus Shedis now. Higher accuracy on Shedis. They do need to see a break. It's 200,000 score, and I think it needs to come out now, otherwise it's just not possible. Sila finds the break, and Poland just barely going to pull this one through right now. 400,000 into the ending, but Shedis, the savior of Poland. One more break, and Sweden may have been able to pull that one back. Grippe, 96% AC highest on Sweden. Just not able to find that aim as Poland consolidates the break point, and now Sweden needs to find their way back into this match.
Absolute power scores from Poland. I mean, that's an incredible score right there. Not dropping a single note in that. I mean, excuse me, not dropping a single combo in this entire map right there. 1 minute 44 seconds is nothing to be shot. I mean, that could have gone any other way. You saw a couple of breaks go towards Poland, or go to the way of Poland, so they can able to grab that DT3. But if you're looking at it, yeah, Sweden, we've already been talking about it. You said that you were looking at something like a Hard Rock 1 and something more consistent like that. Maybe a DT1 that's pretty generic DT aim map, especially when Sweden gets #1 on DT1 in quarterfinals. And if you're looking at consistency, I think those are just both of your best picks. I don't think you go into anything else other than those maps. Maybe Hidden 1 is something you can possibly consider if you are considered good at these kind of like repetitive patterns on the Hidden 1, as well as some of these like bursty sections in that map as well. And if you're looking for something maybe a little bit more adventurous, Hard Rock 2 on the precision, it is consistent. It's a little bit more aimy than our other Hard Rock 2s that we've been seeing during this tournament. And so the Hidden 1, Hard Rock 1, DT1, that's a path that I would like to go to if I was Sweden.
I'm thinking Raw Aim is their best bet right now. I would be stunned for Sweden to not pick the Hidden 1, Hard Rock 1 right now. I mean, given their ability to have the consistency across the board and the overall Raw Aim, that's going to be the avenue to look for. And they are going to go for the Hidden 1, so they are going to go for a little bit more of the awkward aim pick here in Hidden 1. Hard Rock 1 a little bit more conventional. Removing the speed of that DT1 as well. Again, Raw Aim is such a different skill set for Sweden in terms of their overall consistency, and Poland really losing it on the bigger jumps, but I really think it has just been these BPM kick-ups and all of these really awkward patterns thrown in that have been kind of wrenching Sweden's ability to take points right now. And if they're able to get back on that groove with this Raw Aim, it is going to be a comfortable spot for them to sort of sit in for at least the next 2 to 3 picks. But with the way Poland has been playing right now, Sweden does need someone else to step up. You know, I have mentioned it now, I think 3 times. This needs to be the match where your team is all here, because both of these teams last weekend won based off of their consistent performance and the depth of their rosters. And with the way we've been looking at these two teams thus far, Sweden has been far too top-heavy on a lot of these picks, and Poland has been far too top-heavy on some of their picks as well. I mean, we've really been looking for 1 or 2 players across the board on both sides. And in order to really be comfortable in going through this, you absolutely need to have more players, like we saw Sweden on that Nomad 1. So this is going to be the reset. This is going to be the big point for Sweden where they get back into this match. If they are not able to capitalize on this Hidden 1, I would be concerned for their success in the remainder of this match, with Poland already up 3-1, potential for 4-1. But this is the turning point right here, right? This is past halfway picking. If Poland takes another break point, Sweden, their chance to tie things back up. They're still going to need a break point back, but you need a starting point. And it's going to be Sela, Couch, Psycha, Lightning, Fox. So a little bit of switches out. Blue not going to be coming in for the hidden one. Understandable on the hidden. Blue definitely going to be back in for something like that Hard Rock one. Going to be Azriel, NU, Av, Era. It looks like ChillierPear going to be subbing in here. Not entirely sure what to expect from Poland's hidden roster on this map. Definitely know of the skill set, especially Azriel on something like a hidden one, going to be a power player, as well as ChillierPear, who's just been playing well overall this match. All eyes on Sweden to get their second point on the board.
Lots of repeating patterns in this map. It's a consistent 203 BPM map. You're going to see the key eyes are going to be absolutely repetitive of the same slider, of the same double. And there are kind of overlapping doubles and sliders in these verses as well. The verses are going to be your free combo sections as well. And you can already see how this map is already laid out. The consistency is going to be there. Overlapping sliders, overlapping bursts are going to be that kind of name of the game. But when we get into the key eyes, you're expecting some note lock potential due to the OD being 9. It looks like not note lockable territory, but on this kind of OD9, especially on the sliders into doubles, you could possibly miss out on the slider, and especially click on a circle too early, and that could be the result of a note lock. But Lightning Fox fighting for the first break of this hidden one. It's not going to be too devastating for that combo, but Psycha also finds another break, but we aren't even in the key eye yet, and the consistency from Sweden is already starting to falter. We saw that Nomad 1 saw the potential, saw the power that Sweden had, and they are continuing to fall. Couch as well as trading with NU, and now into the key eye. You can already see the repeating patterns in this section already faltering Sweden's combo, and it's only on Couch, but Poland only dropping one in that section, as well as Ezreal and Lightning Fox. There's so many breaks all over the board, and it's only Scylla versus the two combos on Poland.
Scylla continuing to be that standout player for Sweden, and we talked about it. This cannot be the way Sweden wins this match. You cannot beat Poland with a singular player. This roster is far too strong. This country has way too much depth, and we're seeing it right now. It's the double versus just Scylla standing by himself. I mean, none of his teammates have any combo to speak of right now. Couch, the only one who is even remotely close behind. And there goes Scylla on the long slider again. We saw him break on a slider on Nomad 1 as well, not being kind at all to him today. ChillierPear does trade out one of the combos, but it's Era now unchecked, and that's that consistency falling in line for Poland as Sweden continues to drop down the ladder. One more point gone for them as Era holds this one down, 98.8% accuracy. This would be quite the impressive play for them, actually. This map is not easy to FC. Gonna make it through these next repeat sections, the sliders, the bursts here. Less than a quarter of the way left to go on the map, and there is the slider break from Era. It's going to be no combo to match up on the side of Sweden, though. One more break from Lightning Fox and Couch to put the cherry on top. Psycha and Scylla can only do so much as that 400,000 score lead is going to maintain for Poland. They are going to go up 4-1, and the Seed 3 is going to be displaying to us exactly why they are where they are now.
Easy stuff for Poland, absolutely shutting out Sweden's power Nomad 1 out of the water. Looking at that Nomad 1, you expected a close match, expected a back and forth, but especially when you see 2 breakpoints from Poland attacking Sweden's maps, it's especially going to be so difficult now from here on out, especially when Poland has the next pick and a lot more depth, when they have a lot more skill sets to pick apart. Poland is just absolutely on fire today. And if you're looking at the map pool currently right now, you still have those little bit of different kind of skill set maps on that Nomad 3 and Nomad 4, as well as that really, really rhythmic map on Nomad 6. And you still have those DTs open. I mean, DT4 possibly just going to be a really consistent map of alt versus our mainly flowy on that section. And still on the free mods, still they got that gimmick anti-mod, free mod 2, and free mod 3, the ulti map as well, the aim control 2. So a lot of paths that Poland could go to. I expect any map they play is just going to be a back and forth between Sweden and them. And if you're looking at it, Sweden, you need to get a breakpoint now. At this point, you can't be winning your own maps only. Now you got to get these 2 breakpoints to be able to push it to a guaranteed tiebreaker. And right now, you're running out of consistency picks. The only consistency picks that you have are Hard Rock 1 and DT1. But you saw in that hidden 1, you do find a couple of breaks in that hidden 1, and you do drop that map. And so if you are picking into consistency, be sure that you are able to grab these combos.
I mean, this is really just not the point that you can be at if you are Sweden right now. You're up against the 3 seed. You are very clearly getting out skill capped, and you are getting outranged by Poland. And, you know, there's the reason that the high-seeded teams are where they are. They are better across the board, right? That's the entire purpose of qualifiers, is in order to be a high seed, you need to be able to play the entire breadth of skill sets that are presented to you. And to get Seed 3 in a tournament as cutthroat as 4-Digit World Cup, you need to be able to play everything. And Poland is really just showing us that today. Sweden may be getting hit by the skill cap a little bit today as well. I mean, we're starting to see less of that overall performance and more of that solo standout performance. Overall for this team in this match already today, we've, you know, maybe had some doubts about whether or not they're going to be able to match up. And through the rest of this, looking at the match costs for any map that has been played thus far, Scylla is the #1 performing player in this match by almost 0.4 on the match costs above Shedis, who's at a 2.6, by the way. But Scylla is 1 match cost higher than his next closest teammate right now versus Poland, who has 3 players above a 2.0 match cost right now. Shedis, Azriel, and Aira. That Aimboy not too far behind at a 1.98, and ChillierPear not behind at a 1.97. So this is the team difference. This is what we talked about at the start of the match, the middle of the match, and now Poland performing better as an overall roster right now, and Sweden is just not able to find an avenue to break through that armor, to go through this wall that Poland has right now. And they continue to present themselves as a powerhouse team in this tournament as they go into their next pick now to potentially put themselves on match point before Sweden even gets a second.
Looking at this map, it's aim control. It's 174 BPM of 2 minutes of aim control. Circle size 3 for those hidden players, and I believe on the SR of Hard Rock, you bump it up to a 6.77 star rating for those Hard Rock players. And I've been seeing in the chat, there's been talks about grabbing easy, and especially on this kind of map, you do have custom multipliers on easy for this tournament, and especially on this multiplier, it is 2.8 multiplier for the easy players, and I think they were also considering hidden. I think Scylla was also talking about that, but I'm not sure if that's going to be the possibility for this kind of map. The hidden's only going to be Barada for Scylla, and you're already seeing mostly over mod on hidden for Sweden right there, and there is a no mod on Azriel for Poland, 2 Hard Rocks for Poland as well, but mostly hiddens for Sweden. So it is going to be a battle to the multipliers are going to favor Poland in the end. But if you can hold the aim control, if you can hold the combo, I think accuracy is going to be a huge aspect if you're going to able to hold these kind of like long sections in the verses. This map is really consistent. What you're seeing right now is basically the entire map, and it gets a little bit more intense in these last sections of the map. You're seeing some combo breaks from Couch, Grippa, and Lightning Fox. A lot of combo breaks all over the board, but Poland has 2 FCs, and of course it's always Scylla to hold this FC for Sweden.
Intensity map, there really is no breaks in this free mod 3 right now. There is not going to be a single recovery for these players. If you drop combo in a hard section, it's gone for good. There's not an easy one to follow up to rebuild it. So this is all about who holds the big combo for the longest right here. And you can see it again. No pauses here, high spacing, really tight, sharp angle patterns right here. Couch gonna find a break. Grippe also going to lose their combo here. Shedis and Azriel previously losing, but it's Hav and Aira right now, both holding down those large combos for Poland. Here's going to be that first pause for these players right here. Lightning Fox and Scylla, the 2 to hold it down for Sweden right now. They need to see a double break on Poland to even have a chance at getting back through into this pick right now, and it needs to be from both of these players. There's no other way around it. 275k and growing. Shed is going to find a slider break, but that's not the combo that Sweden needed to drop right here. Final quarter of the map. There's only about 300,000 potential score left for Scylla. Lightning Fox just a little bit less, and that's the entire difference of the score here. Scylla going to find a break alongside Aira. It's going to be Hab with a 99.67 to hold it down for Poland right now. Will they close it out with this accuracy? They are going to drop a couple hundreds in this last section, but what a freaking play from Have here on Poland. That is unbelievable accuracy. A disgusting play on the free mod 3. 1 million plus score on the hidden. 5 100s for them. And Poland continuing to show us why they are the 3 seed, why they belong in the winners bracket finals, and why Sweden is going to have to go down to the losers bracket potentially with one map left standing between them and defeat. And it's their pick. They have all the opportunity in the world to make this work for themselves right now, but with the way Poland is playing, it really isn't even much of a difference in what Sweden can do. It's does Poland make a mistake at this point?
Poland's depth is just so much deeper, and they just have players for every single time. You need a player to step up. Poland has one. You need a player to absolutely demolish that free mod 3. Hab is right there. And Hard Rock 1 is still available on the board for Sweden. There is possibly some reason they're trying to avoid this kind of Hard Rock 1. They've been picking into that number 1, hidden 1, Nomad 2. But especially this Hard Rock 1, I expect it to be picked a lot more earlier. There's possibly something in this map that is just bugging them, or something in that map that is just impossible to hit. If you're looking on that Hard Rock 1, it is a mechanics map. That consistency is still going to be there, but it does switches between 1/3 and 1/4 a ton in the middle of your stream. Bursts are pretty common in this map, and hence the mechanics map. Some longer bursts in the last half of that Hard Rock 1. I think that's a map that they should go to, but if you're looking to push this into a tiebreaker match, you need to win 2 of your own picks. Heads towards AB on Poland's pick as well. So looking at this pool, Nomad 3, Nomad 4, and Nomad 6, but it is going to be the anti-mod map, free mod 2, which is something I consider to be a little bit more RNG or a little bit more coin flip for Sweden here. This anti-mod map is low BPM anti-mod. You're having a lot of rhythm. You're having a lot of different kinds of variables of this map. There's flow streams. There's cut streams as well. The reading for the low AR players, especially on the AR7. And the weird aim that gets on these different kind of rhythms. And these bursts, they sometimes get burst oriented, or excuse me, rhythm oriented as well.
It's gonna be an interesting pick, and you know, we are not at the point in this match, unfortunately, for Sweden right now on discussing whether or not they get to tiebreaker. This is about staying alive for Sweden right now. Every single pick for quite literally the entire rest of this match is staying alive for Sweden. Poland has zero pressure. They have to do no worrying whatsoever. They're at match point. They've done the work. They've put it in early. It's just on them to hold it down now. And Sweden going into free mod 2 right now is going to have to use the mod abilities that they have across the board. They're going to have to use the consistency. They're going to have to use their skill cap on the players to distribute these mods properly against Poland, who, again, has just been outperforming them as a roster so far in this match. And it is going to be an uphill battle through every single second of it. Psycha, Couch, Lightning Fox already in. Era, Have, Azrael, all 3. Now I think we are just waiting on some combination of Dila, Kostiarek coming in for these final players here. I am really, really looking forward to what Sweden is going to put up for mods on this map, especially under the pressure of being down 4 points. The pressure of Poland having performed the way they have across this entire match, and their consistency maybe not necessarily holding up the way that they wanted it to through some of these aim patterns in here. You know, I will glaze Sweden to the end of the universe, but they have just had some unfortunate breaks on all of these maps thus far, and I think it's just going to be down to whether or not Poland is going to hold this skill cap through. They've just looked so comfortable on every single map. In 3 minutes and 25 seconds from now is when we will probably decide the fate of this match. If Sweden wins this point by a big margin, that's a little bit of morale back. That's a little bit of maybe confidence, that consistency that we're looking for from them. But Poland, this is it for them. If they win this map, Sweden is done. They are gone. They are down to the losers bracket to face off against the winner of South Korea versus China in a very difficult matchup. Despite being right at this point all the way through, defeating Germany in pretty dominant fashion. And the winner of this match facing off against United States or Canada, two of our strongest teams in this tournament, two of our contenders for a winning team in this tournament this year. As Grippe finds a very early break on the Hard Rock, Era going to drop as well. These precision players are going to be the ones to look out for in this matchup. A little bit more difficult, in my opinion, on that Hard Rock overall with the precision, especially when the pressure is on. Having Scylla on that hidden, the low AR, the reading, it's a good spot for him. It's comfortable, maybe a little bit more definitive of a big combo for him than it would be otherwise with the Hard Rock, maybe throwing in some of the RNG that precision adds. Blue, one of the best Hard Rock players in Sweden for a very long time, has sort of maintained that distinction for many years, hopefully going to be able to maintain through the jumps. Does find a break on the cut stream, so not getting caught out on the precision, getting caught out on the gimmick part of this map, and so does everyone but Grippe, who is actually the one to hold through the cut patterns with Hard Rock, mind you. The hardest modification to hold through on these patterns, and it's going to be Grippe to hold Sweden down, but he over-aims a burst after you make it through the entire hard section and drop Grippe. What are you doing, my friend? Halfway through the map now, and Sweden has just given up their entire lead into the next section here, but they do have a lead.
They have a little lead. 40k right now in this map. I mean, combos are basically equal between each team. Sweden and Poland going at it on this free mod 2. And it is going to be into this next key where the most important combos are going to happen. You saw that hard section was hit by Grippe, but can you do it again? Will drop in the beginning of that section, so that combo will not be opposed to the combos here. Blue finding a drop right there. Scylla and Lightning Fox here to try and carry Poland. Try and carry Sweden into the victory right here. It is 22k in the lead for Sweden here, but Poland only has a combo on Era right now, and that's especially on the Hard Rock. There's still a couple of 1/3 to go through. Lightning and Fox and Scylla are still holding it down, but you still have combo advantage on the side of Poland somehow. Or accuracy to lead. There is not a lot of accuracy on the side of Blue and Grippe, but especially on your Hard Rock players, Zedis and Era are continuing to hold that kind of accuracy up. Blue and Grippe are going to find more breaks. It is only Scylla and Lightning Fox to try and contest with the collected combos against Poland, but one more section to go. It is the most important section of this map. Whoever breaks here is going to determine the entire map. The hiddens are going to be only on Scylla right now. That Hard Rock and Era is going to find a drop right there, and it's Sweden's time to strike, but you drop over those combos as soon as the combos are needed. Poland, the fast verge of victory right now. Ezreal and Zedis are holding down the ground. It is free mod 2 is over. Poland punched their ticket into the finals winners bracket, and Sweden is going down to the losers bracket.
Sweden not able to hold it down. Lightning Fox and Scylla doing whatever they could against Poland into the ending of that map, but no combos on the top half for them. Just not able to make it work into the ending. It just kept that lead far too spaced. And Poland, as a team, as a collective, just played a little bit better today. Awesome performance overall from every single player. I genuinely could not pick a standout performance from Poland today on a singular player because of how they made that work as a team. Unbelievable stuff from them. They are the 3rd seed for a reason. They are in the winners bracket final for a reason. Now the question is, will they be able to maintain against the top half of the bracket? That's right, in just an hour, 2.5 hours from now, an hour and a half from now, we are going to get a chance to see them face off, United States versus Canada, for that matchup in the winners bracket finals. That match will take place next weekend, but again, 20 UTC, United States versus Canada, to see who will be our winners bracket finalists matchup here. An hour 35 minutes. The timer is on. The clock is counting down. Sweden versus South Korea to take place next weekend. And then the loser here versus Australia, Indonesia. That won't be decided until Monday morning at 12 UTC, very early. Thank you, everyone, for watching this match. We have been ChillierPear and Exia to bring you this winners bracket semifinals match. Thank you all for watching. We will see you in just an hour and 34 minutes for United States versus Canada. Don't miss it.
See you guys.